Hi, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Japanese Faves series where we'll cover every major type of Japanese food. This is a great guest participation dinner. Yakiniku means grilled meat in Japanese. This cooking style was brought to Japan from Korea, but the Japanese have made it their own. In Japan, small pieces of high quality and highly marbled beef and various bite-sized vegetables are cooked by the guest over a charcoal grill. The beef is not marinated before cooking unless the restaurant is presenting the Korean style of grilling meat. The grilled meat and veggies are dipped in a room temperature yakiniku sauce while still warm, just before eating. My version is about as close to Japanese yakiniku as you can make in the US. You can see a Japanese restaurant version of yakiniku on the TV show called Samurai Gourmet on Netflix. The TV episode shows how yakiniku night can bring people together. So let's start cooking. All right, now the first thing that we need for this yakiniku preparation is some beef. Now, the best beef you can get is going to be Japanese beef. You've probably heard of Wagyu beef. That's a type of cattle, and this is actually Japanese Wagyu beef. It came from Japan. You can also use Japanese Miyazaki beef or Matsutake beef if you can find it in the US. I'm going to give you a couple of sources in the description. If you can't get Japanese beef, which is highly marbled, beautiful, very tasty beef, you could use US beef prime. Okay, now this is New York strip. This is cut from the New York strip cut of the steer. Now if you use US beef, use either ribeye or New York strip and get a prime steak as thick as you can get it. Freeze it until it's not rock solid, but close to, just till it's totally firm, okay? And then use a sharp knife and slice off pieces that are about a 1/16 to an eighth of an inch thick. If you can get your butcher to do that for you, that's even better. Now when the butcher does it, the butcher could either slice it lengthwise so that you get long, flat pieces, or the butcher could cut the steak vertically so that you get smaller pieces. It doesn't really matter, because what you want to be cooking anyway is bite-sized pieces when you do grill the yakiniku. Okay, now I'm going to put this back in the fridge until we're ready to cook. Now, one thing I meant to show you about the Wagyu beef, if you get actual Japanese beef from Japan, it will come with a certificate. This certificate shows the date of birth of the steer, the breed, which is Japanese black, and the date of slaughter, and the grade, which is A5. A5 is the top grade of Japanese Wagyu beef. Now, I've listed all of the equipment that you need for this lesson in the description, but I'm going to talk about the two most important elements. And they are the conro, which is a little, in the US we call them hibachi grills. And it has a grate in the bottom, and you will put the charcoal in there. And then there's grate on the top. That's where you and your guests will be doing the grilling. And then we're going to need to have a very special type of Japanese charcoal called binchotan. Okay, this is white binchotan. Even though it's black, it's actually called white binchotan. It has kind of a metallic look to it. It comes from Japan, and this charcoal gets very, very hot and puts off almost no smoke. And so you should use it in a well-ventilated area, but you'll get very little. You should get very little smoke. And you will put this under or on a flame, and for about a half an hour to get it to light, and then transfer it into the conro. Okay, now I've provided sources for both the conro and the binchotan charcoal in the description. Okay, so now what we want to do is light the binchotan charcoal. So what I have here is a charcoal lighting chimney. I have the conro, and I have placed pieces of charcoal in it that will fit. Okay, so I know I've got the right pieces, the right size, the right number. All right, now I'm going to put those into the chimney, and then we're going to put this chimney, what I'm going to do is I'm going to light it on the open flame of the stove. You could use another method to light it. You could use the fire starter briquettes that some barbecue suppliers provide. Don't use lighter fluid though. Okay, so we're going to put this directly on the flame. It's going to take about a half an hour for it to get ready for cooking. Now here are the other ingredients that we're going to use and cook with the beef, but the guests are going to be doing all the cooking tonight, but we need to get them ready so the guests can cook them. Now I've given you a list of suggested accompanying ingredients that can go along with the beef. It's in the description with the video. Tonight I've picked some sweet mini peppers, some shishito peppers, and if you let shishito peppers go long enough in the garden, these came from our garden, they turn red. So I've got one red and one green per person. These are some carrots that have been blanched for about 60 seconds and then shocked in cold water. These also came from our garden. They're purple on the outside and orange on the inside. We have some sugar snap peas. Also, they should be blanched for about 1 minute and shocked in ice water. We have some scallion pieces. We have some small onions. And we also have some green beans here. These have been cut on a diagonal, makes them look better. And I'm not sure if I said it, but the green beans have also been shocked, blanched for 60 seconds and shocked in ice water. We also have some garlic on skewers, bamboo skewers, which will they're less likely to burn when you go to grill them. The garlic's also been blanched for 60 seconds and shocked in ice water. And then we have some Japanese mountain sweet potato, which has been cut into pieces that are about, roughly 1 inch square, and then they were steamed for 15 minutes so that a toothpick just goes through them, okay? You don't want them to get mushy, and you don't want them to be hard. We want the toothpick to just go through. And then finally, we have some piopini mushrooms here. And now what we're going to do with all of these ingredients is we're going to very lightly brush them with olive oil. All right, now I've lightly brushed each one of the vegetables with olive oil, and you might be asking, well, why do we do that? We do it because it helps the vegetables to grill better. They look better, they grill better, and you also might be saying, well, why don't we just put it all in a bowl and toss it in olive oil? You could do that, but the Japanese way is to brush each one of them carefully and individually. Okay, so now here we have the setup for dinner. We have over here the conro. We haven't put the charcoal in it yet, and we're set up for 2 guests. And now we'll talk about what's on each plate. Okay, for each guest we've provided a plate of sliced Wagyu beef, shishito peppers, sugar snap peas, scallions, green beans, mushrooms, carrots, garlic, onions, sweet peppers, and Japanese mountain potato. We have chopsticks, and then in this dish we have sea salt and eskimi togarashi. Now there are other ingredients that are suggested in the description. You can use any combination you want. You just have to decide how much you want to serve to each person. But we've provided about 4 ounces of beef per person. That's about the normal amount that you'd get per person in Japan. They eat much smaller portions of beef than we do. Okay, now we're going to transfer the charcoal into the conro, and you can see it is glowing beautifully. Now this should allow you to cook for really an hour or 2. And then we'll just place the grate on top of the grill. And then we're just going to brush the grate with a little bit of olive oil.
you.